Many times when we read motivation book, all the stories behind the successful people, we find one common theme that most of the successful people have gone through a lot of failures and painful experiences. In Bible there is a saying called, when he has tested me, I shall come forth as a gold, which means when you heat the iron in extreme temperatures, then only you can mold it. The whole point about this discussion is that how you can use the painful experiences in your life to your benefit. And I'm going to share some of my personal story as well. In 2011, I was diagnosed with uncurable autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis, where your whole colon gets ulcered, you lose weight, there is no cure. Eventually you have to either go for surgery or you get colon cancer. At the age of 29, I was just too young to receive this devastating news. During the same time period, me and my wife were going through a lot of struggle in terms of having kids as well. So there was that issue going on, and on the other hand, I have my health issues. And one fine day, I felt like everything was going wrong actually. I was feeling kind of depressed. And I was like, is this how we are supposed to live our life? Because your health is not good, on the social front you are facing a lot of challenges, and you see your friends, everyone is healthy, having kids, everyone had a good life, and you start feeling, why is it that I have to go through these pains? And on that day, I was listening to a podcast from Pat Flynn while I was driving to work, and what Pat mentioned on that podcast was it all depends on how you react to events, because the event that happens in our life sometimes we do not have control on, but how we react to it, we definitely have control on that. So I started thinking that, okay, maybe I should do something creative in order to bring happiness back in my life. I started looking around. I found that people who have kids and who are normally healthy, they are kind of very busy with their day-to-day work and the routines with kids on weekends and so on. I also had a friend who used to complain that if you want to do something in your life like a startup or a side hustle, do it before you get married or even before you get kids. So then I started realizing that although my situation was pretty horrible, I had one advantage, which was I had a lot of free time. Also, going through this major health struggle, my perception of time got changed. At some point I started thinking that maybe I'm going to live only next 2 or 3 years. So when you get that fundamental shift in your perception of time, the mindset with which you look at the world completely changes. I was not fearful after that point, because sometimes when you are like majorly screwed, you will be like, I'm screwed anyway, just chill, let's relax, and you just go into this different paradigm altogether. And that's what happened to me. I'm like, okay, if this is what the destiny is, then I'm ready to embrace it. And I started to do something. I decided actually to do something where I can create some impact on the world before I leave this earth. So I started putting my hobbies, actually the things which I was good at. I had been doing a couple of things such as photography, teaching, poetry writing and all of that. And since I was going through this health struggle and my mind was occupied, because your own problem looks the biggest problem in the world. So my mind was occupied with the two major burning issues that were going in my life. And to get my mind free from that, I wanted to engage in some activity where I can get some joy, as well as I can give something to others for free. That way you get the feeling of satisfaction. Then I started analyzing on which front I have received some compliments. So I realized that teaching was one area where I was in college or I was working in my software company. When I used to teach to people, they used to tell me, you are good at it. So I'm like, okay, why don't I try teaching programming tutorials on YouTube. That was the day, probably the darkest day of my life, when I started my YouTube channel called Code Basics, where I started teaching programming. Fast forward in year 2020, June as of this recording, my channel has grown to be 125,000 subscribers. Not only that, for my health issues also I found some natural way of healing it. So past 1 year I have been totally medication free, totally disease and symptom free. So what I learned from my painful experiences is that when we go through painful experience, we get tremendous determination, because you are so frustrated that your determination power goes like really high. At that time, it makes all sense to use that energy, or to channelize that energy that is being generated from your frustration and extreme point of suffering, and we just channelize that energy in a right direction, and wonderful things happen. The similar thing happened with my brother as well, who is also going to be posting videos on this Compass channel. He did not get a job after graduating as a computer science BTech. He was not interested in programming. He was more like a business people person, and for that reason, whenever he used to go for interviews, he was getting rejection and rejection. He was also very frustrated, and because he could not get a job, he started his business. He started like a small software business, and now that business has grown tremendously, and he's one of the most successful young entrepreneurs at the place where he's running the company. So when these painful experiences happen, I think the lesson here is that we have to be ready for plan B, because in that local context, when we go through the painful experience, plan B will not look good, because you are too much attached to plan A. The plan B will look horrible to you. But when you go on that path, start walking, wonderful things happen, and after a few years you realize that plan B is much better than plan A. So the food for thought here is, if you are going through some painful experience, let's say you are not getting a job, you are getting rejection in your career, in your social life, you are having health issues, just think about, is there a plan B? Is there any creative way I can find to utilize my time and my energy that is being generated from this frustration, that I can make use of it? Because when you go through painful experience, you become one of the exception. Majority of the people, they are living their routine life, and we as humans, we don't do anything special until we are hit hard. It's like we don't move our ass until someone hits you hard. That is the human nature, and that was same for me. If this disease did not happen to me, and if I had kids, I would be living a regular life that thousands of people are living, and I would not have started YouTube channel, or I would not have started some of the other amazing things that I have done in my life. And I realized that those pains came as a blessing, and it became a blessing because of my perspective of looking at it, because I chose to react in a different way. Many times people get frustrated, and then they don't do anything, but then that's not good, because it's not going to help anyone. So just think about any creative way of dealing with any painful experience, whether it's like you're stuck in a traffic, you are frustrated about your job situation, not happy with your boss, not happy with your wife, kids, whatever issues you're facing. I'm telling you, there is a bright side of it, and this is something I have experienced, so many other people have experienced. It's just that we need a creative way of looking at it, and we need to be patient as well. When you choose to work on plan B, just have a lot of patience. Patience is the key. When I started my channel, for initial 1-2 year, I had not many subscribers, but I just wanted to teach people, because a single comment like "thank you, this tutorial has helped me" always gave me a boost that I am creating some impact. In the end, everyone is going to die. So what matters is when you leave the earth, what kind of impact have you created? That's what matters. And often the opportunity of creating these impacts happen through those painful experiences. So if you are going through painful experiences right now, just think that you are one of the very special person. The destiny has chosen you for doing something unique in your life, and you will read these kind of motivation in the story of any successful person that you have read, right? Those people have gone through tremendous pains, and after that they chose to react differently, and for that reason they became successful.